All right, thanks for stopping by. I am the gaming real estate agent, and I'm here to go over some of my DraftKings strategies real quick with you guys. So I'm going to do this as often as I can for these showdown lineups. This is the first game of the season. We got Packers versus the Bears. So I'm going to let this kind of roll while I go over my strategy that I use for drafting. So I take projections, a consensus of projections from a bunch of pros to come up with an average projection for each player. Then from there, I give each player a value based on their DraftKings price or their salary. From there, I adjust the prices based on the Vegas lines, kind of like the quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, tight ends, defense, and kicker all get adjusted up or down based on whether it's going to be high scoring or low scoring games, things like that. Then from there, I come up with my final value and rank all of the players. So what you're going to see is I'm going to go through and build a few lineups using my rankings. And if you're curious what those rankings actually are, I've got my top 10 captains and top 15 flex spots are going to be showing up, scrolling down on the bottom of the screen. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this thing. So first of all, the first lineup that we're going to do, this is going to be for tournaments. We're not going to look at head-to-head yet. And I'm going to go ahead and throw something out there that's pretty crazy from the start, and we're going to put Kumaro in. And Kumaro, as you can see from the ticker, is actually our highest value player available for the captain position. It's pretty crazy sounding. For the flex position, so we want to put him in a flex spot. It's crazy sounding, but he's only $600. Fantasy points per game was 4.9, but we're projecting about 5.7 for this draft. If we take a look over here, we can compare that to, let's say, Cordero Patterson, whose cost is $1,000 and projected at 4.58. Sternberger is 1,600, 2.32. Geronimo Allison is 7,400 and only a 7.61. So some things like that are what we're looking at. 5.2 at cost of 600. That's pretty crazy. So we're gonna run just one lineup because the chances that Kumaro actually does something is next to nothing. But for tournaments, we're gonna play to win the game. So we're gonna throw Kumaro in, which is gonna give us tons of wiggle room from there. All right, so let's get back to the draft board and put our next player on. We're going to go with the captain spot here, and we're going to pick Mitchell Trubisky. All right, Mitch Trubisky is going to be our captain. As you can see again from the ticker, he's one of the higher ranked, and because we have Jake Kumaro, we're going to actually put a quarterback as a captain, which is not typically going to be the strategy because it's so expensive to do in most cases. But here you see we've got Mitch Trubisky and Jake Kumaro to start us off. We're going to fill out the rest of this lineup and then kind of discuss it there. So we've got Aaron Rodgers can fit into this lineup. Mason Crosby, Allen Robinson, and MVS. So Allen Robinson, MVS. And our final pick is going to be Crosby here. And we'll go over the reasoning. Technically, the pick should be Pinheiro, but I'm going to go with Crosby just because he's untested. Pinheiro is untested, and he's going to be used in a lot of my other lineups. So we're going to go with Crosby here. Valdez-Scantling, as you can tell, is one of the best values in both captain and in the flex spot. So he's going to be used all over the week. This is somebody you want in every lineup you're doing just about. And to get into a little bit why, the Packers are going to be throwing the ball to Valdez-Scantling a ton in their new offense. It's just the way their scheme is built. A lot of their players and coaching staff are saying it's really kind of designed for Valdez-Scantling's playing style. So he should come out of the gate with a huge week, and his value at 6,800 is just insane. I think he's going to do much better than his fantasy football points per game of 7.3 last year. I think I projected him closer to 8.5 going into this week. So here's our first lineup. We've got Mitchell Trubisky, Jake Kumro, Aaron Rodgers, Allen Robinson, Valdez Scantling, who's going to be all over the place. I think he's in every single lineup we're running, and Mason Crosby. The Jake Kumro pick let us throw in Mitchell Trubisky and Aaron Rodgers while still getting the number one wide receiver on Chicago, and who I think is going to be the second best receiver possibly in the game behind Devontae Adams and Valdez Scantling. All right, so let's go ahead and clear that lineup out. And on to the next one. Again, go ahead and take a look at that ticker on the bottom left if you want to make your own decisions based on what my projections are. And that was just a tournament lineup. Don't forget to click subscribe if you're interested and you want to see more. I'm going to be doing this quite frequently for the Showdown games. So tournament number 2. So just like I said, Pinheiro is extremely valuable. They're expecting the Bears to kick a lot of field goals this week as far as the projections are concerned, and I don't necessarily go against that. So let's get Pinheiro in here as our captain real quick. All right, with Pinheiro in, we can move on. And again, Valdez Scantling heavy, so Pinheiro in, Valdez Scantling, Allen Robinson is going to be what we're running real quick in this lineup. Allen Robinson, MVS. Remember I said Valdez Scantling's going to be all over the place. We got an opportunity at a decent price to get the number one receiver on any team, so we're going to take that. Allen Robinson, Pinheiro value is huge. They're expecting, I'm expecting about 9 points possibly out of the Bears kicker. So it's a solid play right there at 5,100 only as the captain. That gives us room again to stack Aaron Rodgers and Mitchell Trubisky. And our last player in this lineup is going to be not a player at all, actually the Bears defense. So it's not going to be necessarily a low scoring game. It's going to be a decent game, we think, around 50 points, 47 or something like that, actually. But we got the Bears defense because they're going to score some points. They're going to get some sacks. Aaron Rodgers is going to hold on to the ball. And they're just a really good play for the flex position at only $5,000. So second lineup is right here. I'll go ahead and put this up actually a big screen for you guys so you can see that full lineup that we've got going. That's lineup number 2. Again, lower left side, you can see all of the rankings scrolling, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to get this type of advice every week, or if you just want to stop in and see what my rankings are. So we're going to go ahead and move on from here to the next. Again, those were both tournament drafts. So don't use those lineups in head-to-head. They have specifically been designed to potentially win the whole thing based on contrarian plays, such as the Kumaro pick or the captain is Pinheiro, things like that. So let's move on to the tournament style number 3. Again, our guy is going to be MVS Marquez Valdez Scantling. So let's clear this out. We'll go ahead and add in MVS to get this started as our captain. Again, huge value, just the price that he is and the points we think he's going to get this week. We're going to put him in every single lineup that we're doing. So this one we're going to kind of stack the Packers as far as the receiving core goes and predict that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a heyday, especially against a potentially weakened secondary of the Bears. I know that they've got some challenges in terms of the front line and some sacks that could happen, but let's go ahead and see what this Packers stack looks like. So we've got Valdez Scantling, as the number 1 captain. We've got Devontae Adams, Mason Crosby, and Aaron Rodgers all in the game. So Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Mason Crosby, the kicker. Again, the reason why we're staying away from Pinheiro is because he's in a lot of other lineups. We're stacking the Packers, and he's a little bit unproven compared to Crosby, even though Crosby's kind of proven he's a little inconsistent. But anyway, there's our Packers stack, and to the Packers stack, we're going to add a couple of Bears just to even this out. We've got, of course, Mitchell Trubisky back in it. Oh, I'm sorry. No Mitchell Trubisky in this one. That would have been a crazy stack. We've got David Montgomery and Pinheiro. All right, let's go back to our lineup here. David Montgomery, Pinheiro. Probably saying that name completely wrong, but let's go ahead and throw him in there. So we got the kicker stack, which is what allowed us to throw in such heavy receiving core for the Packers. So we've got Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Valdez-Scantling, hoping that David Montgomery has a decent day. This is, again, a little bit of a contrarian tournament pick, because normally you wouldn't want to pick this running back right here going against all this passing. This is, of course, unless the Bears get up extremely fast and the Packers have to have kind of a comeback play. So again, contrarian to stack Packers and play the running back for the Bears. So that's going to be our third tournament lineup. So let's go ahead and get all this tournament stuff out of our hair. I'm going to clear this out. Let's go back to the full screen where you can see everyone and what we're doing. And we're going to bring up our first head-to-head style lineup. So head-to-head style lineups, you want to have more of a consistency. The tournament style, you're looking to win big money. You don't want to just get in the money. You want to win a lot of money. So head-to-head, you just want to win every game that you go into, regardless by how much you win. So you want consistency here. So going a little bit against that theory, we are playing Pinheiro just because of the projections. So he's going to be in every single one of our lineups, as well as Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They're kind of our two extreme value guys that we're going to play the crap out of. So let's go ahead and throw that first lineup in. Pinheiro, Allen Robinson, the Bears. Allen Robinson and the Bears defense. So this is obviously expecting the Bears to have a pretty decent game, scoring some field goals and holding the Packers, as far as this is concerned. And then we've got added on to that Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Aaron Rodgers, and Mitchell Trubisky. So the kicker, defense stack, and the value of MVS is what's going to allow us to stack, again, both quarterbacks, which is huge to do in head-to-heads, is have both quarterbacks, especially if you expect both to have a pretty decent game. So we've got Aaron Rodgers, Mitchell Trubisky, Valdez-Scantling, Allen Robinson, two guys who should get some volume from those QBs, the Bears defense along with the kicker. So that is going to be our first and maybe my favorite of my head-to-head lineups that I've got going on. So don't forget to take a look in the lower left corner to see the ticker. You can see what the rankings currently are as well. Those are as far as my rankings are concerned. Also, please subscribe if you are interested in getting this kind of advice every week, or if you'd like to just kind of hop in and check out the ticker. So let's go ahead and clear this one out. We'll go ahead and jump into the next head-to-head lineup that we've got going on. This head-to-head matchup is Eddie Pinheiro as well. MVS in the Bears defense. What we're doing different is we're going to stack Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson. So Allen Robinson, Devontae Adams, MVS. Pinheiro should be our captain. Sorry about that. Bears D and Mitchell Trubisky. All right, so this is going to predict the Packers have a pretty decent passing game. Maybe the Bears get some picks because we don't have Aaron Rodgers in, but Mitchell Trubisky is just a better value and can actually fit within the salary cap. The goal here is to stack the receivers: Allen Robinson, Devontae Adams, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. If you haven't been able to tell, I don't really like any of the running backs this week. That's why I don't have them in nearly any of the lineups. So let's go ahead and get to the last and final lineup here. David Montgomery, I had it, if you remember, in that final tournament lineup. But here goes the last head-to-head lineup. It's going to be another Mitchell Trubisky, Aaron Rodgers stack with Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Anthony Miller. So Valdez-Scantling is going to take the captain spot. Then we've got Aaron Rodgers, Mitchell Trubisky with the stack. To afford that, we've got Anthony Miller and again MVS in the captain spot. And the final thing is we're going to throw the Bears defense. Bears defense, again, regardless how the game goes, they should put up a decent amount of fantasy points. They're just stacked. So MVS, Aaron Rodgers, Mitchell Trubisky, Anthony Miller, and the Bears defense. And of course, just like we've been doing, we've got Pinheiro again. When you see that I'm playing Pinheiro, feel free to start Mason Crosby if you prefer the fact that he's got a little bit more history in the league, but the projections are kind of leaning towards Pinheiro having a little bit better of a game, and I'm not really against that. So here is our final head-to-head matchup. Again, we were going to stack Aaron Rodgers, Mitchell Trubisky to give us that consistency. Anthony Miller and MVS should both have pretty solid games, giving us the value to afford 2 quarterback stack for our head-to-head matchup. So those are the 6 matchups that we've got going for you this week. Again, the ticker in the bottom left is going to show you exactly what I used to come up with those, as far as my top 10 captains and my top 15 flex positions. So feel free to use the exact lineups that I shared with you, or just use those rankings that I've put together to kind of come up with your own value plays that you can do here. Again, of course, there's some guys that are going to put up a ton of points that aren't listed as my top guys, and just keep in mind that those are value. This is all about the salary charged on DraftKings this week during this game compared to what I believe the projections are going to be. So yeah, take it for what you will. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here in a couple of days for the next showdowns on DraftKings.